Hi everyone, good evening. So, welcome to 34th episode of the Logophile Lounge. Today we are going to do all right. So today we are going to do improving business vocab. It's basically understanding a business, right? The key concept of business. This episode has been kept in mind for people who are not from technical background, uh, especially business background, not about technical background, but about business background. So we have seen. I remember in one of the classes, when we were studying business writing, uh, many people like they had. It's kind of when we were studying business writing, how to write company profile, website content, etc. There were some people who were not aware of what is profit, how a business functions, how basic purpose of running a business, right? So other than of course making money. So so I thought that okay, fine. It's very important that you should first understand the concept of business before you start writing about business content, right? So that is why this was introduced. This session was introduced, right? So that you know how to. So once you understand business content, it's business. It becomes quite simple for you to write business content, right? So that was the primary purpose. Now I will share my screen and we'll now get started. So, yes, episode 34, Understanding a Business. I have made it like, improving your business vocab as you saw the title. It was about business vocab. And that is primarily because to understand business terms, business context, you first need to understand a business very well. And that is the reason we have introduced this understanding a business. Uh, yes, Suma, Bhargavi, Hina, Simi, Rahul, Arisha. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right. So let's start now. Just wait for a second. So just let me see on the screen. Okay. So let's see what is a business. Okay, so this is the agenda. Understanding key business concepts. Just to set your expectations clear, this is about basic business, understanding the basics of a business. So if you are already from a business background, if you are already working, probably this session may not add much value, but still, this is for people who do not have a business background. They do not understand how a business functions. It is expected to go 1 hour, that is 60 minutes, and hopefully we will not go beyond that. Meanwhile, you please keep asking. If you have any questions, please send them on the chat and I will try to answer that. All right, so what is a business? Yes, as per your understanding, can you tell me what is a business? What do you understand when you think of a business? What comes in your mind? Yes, who will answer this? So, when you think of a business, and write the honest answer in terms of if you think it's only about making money, do write that. What do you think? is business is all about. Do not try to search any definition on the net, just write whatever you believe in and whatever you think. Bhargavi is saying an economic right. What else could be a business? Anyone else? When the output is more than input, Jyotsna, you need to specify what do you mean by the output. Jitendra is saying to offer your service and product and make profit. Right. So offering your product and services and making profit in in the process. A business is a venture that is expected to yield profits. All right. So most of you are correct in the sense then that Sunanda is saying when there is a chain of demand and supply of the products and services in need. All right. So a business is any activity done for a financial gain, right? We talk profits. Right now, I'm not using the term profit because profit is a technical term. We will study in a separate session what is a profit, but we do it for a financial gain. The primary objective is to gain financially. Some of the responses that I see from Rahul, Rishika, and Surendra is convert input into a value added output, demand and supply, um, satisfying customer needs, and magnetize profits and revenue. Okay, at the end of the day, we say that a business is an activity done for a financial gain, right? Now, the way you generate the financial gain is called the business model. So please understand these terms. So you know that uh, business is about doing an activity to gain for a financial gain. Then you are talking about the way you do that business, the way you make that financial gain is known as business model, right? You would be hearing this term quite frequently. But actual meaning is how do you make money? How do you make that financial gain? Let us see a few examples of how some of the businesses acquire or generate a financial gain. A notebook manufacturer generates financial gain by producing and selling notebooks to their customers. So notebook manufacturer, they generate financial gain by producing and selling notebooks. A superstore, a kirana store or any superstore generates financial gain by selling the product at a higher price than they bought. So if they bought rice at 100 rupee a kg, they will sell it at 110, 120, and there are thousands of products. So they increase the price, selling price, to generate a financial gain. A doctor generates a financial gain by offering their expertise and time to their patients. So they are experts in something and they generate gain by charging their patients, and of course, they also offer their time. Then a broker generates financial gain by matching a seller and a buyer. So when broker matches a buyer and a seller, he generates a gain, a certain percentage of the entire transaction. Similarly, a newspaper generates financial gain by offering their enormous reach, the readers, and ad space to prospective advertisers. And a software product company develops a digital product and sell it to prospective customers, right? So all digital products that you see in terms of subscriptions, etc., they are digital products like Dropbox, even YouTube Premium. They are digital products. So they build it and then they sell it to their prospective customers, and this is how they generate a financial gain. So you will see there are different type of business models, and by the way, there are hundreds and thousands. There are n number of in types of business models that companies adopt to generate a financial gain. You can be as creative as possible in making the business model. There is no standardized business model. You can have your own type of business model and um, generate a financial gain. So let's understand in the lesson 2 the common business models that exist in the market today. So core activity is in any business is when sellers sell or give or offer some value to buyers, and in lieu of that buyers pay money to sellers, right? This is how transaction happens. There are buyers, there are sellers. Sellers offer something value, some product, service or anything. Buyers pay them the money, right? This is the core and the basic, the sell, the unit, a unit value of a business is basically one transaction between buyer and a seller. This is the simplest form of a business. Um, Jitendra is saying what is drop shipping and drop servicing. Jitendra, I will not get into that right now because that will need an understanding of some e-commerce things. So I will drop right now, but we will have a separate session on that to discuss that. So, Simi, can you tell me what you did not understand so that I can repeat that? Okay. So sellers and buyers, this is the core activity. Then this is how a business ecosystem functions. It's about manufacturer and service providers. Okay, so the product that we spoke about, the value could be either a product or a service, right? So here we have taken manufacturer, means those who create, those who sells, manufacture the products, and services, those who produce services, right? So it could be either product or a service. There could not be more than that. The These are sellers. They will be either manufacturers or service providers. And then there are buyers make who pay the money. In between there are intermediaries, right? So and by the way, a majority of businesses function as an intermediary. So you will see that, in fact, YouTube, for example. So suppose this is a business activity that we are doing right now. I'm teaching right now here certain things, concepts. So we are taking YouTube as an intermediary between me and all of you, right? It is offering us the platform. It is for me. It is offering me a platform to reach to a large number of people. For you, it's giving an access to a lot of free information. So there are a majority of the businesses functions as intermediaries between buyers and sellers. We will just understand what when we are talking about intermediaries, what we usually talk. But please understand that the product can be only of two types: goods or services, products or services. Products will be manufactured by a company, services will be produced by a particular experts or the company, and there will be buyers who are the customers who will finally pay the money, and in between are all are intermediaries. Now, why intermediaries exist? What is the purpose of that? Why do they exist in the entire system? So the reason for their existence is they bring something called unique selling proposition. Now you will hear this term quite frequently. And if you are a writer, if you write website content, this is the first thing that you ask your client, can you tell your unique selling proposition? Okay, in fact, all the businesses should have at least one unique selling proposition. Now, what is this unique selling proposition or the USP? A unique selling proposition is a factor that differentiates a business from others, right? That means that it's um, it's something different which you have, which others do not have, or maybe your competitors do not have. Okay, most of the successful intermediaries bring a solid, unique selling proposition to the table for both the buyers and the sellers. So, here we were talking about intermediaries. Why do they exist? Because they bring a strong, unique selling propositions for both for manufacturer as well as service providers and buyers, right? So, for example, when many of you have done our classes, our courses on Zoom software, right? That Zoom software, it's kind of acting as an intermediary between the trainer and the participants. Why? Because it is giving, and this is a unique selling proposition. If the Zoom will not be there, it does not mean that the buyers and sellers won't be able to function. They can physically meet and conduct the session, they can learn, they can teach. However, the presence of Zoom software makes it quite entirely easy and interesting for people to be at, at a remote location and still have the same experience of a classroom session. That is how intermediaries bring a unique selling proposition to the table for both for the buyers as well as for the sellers. Most of the businesses specialize in doing one thing in the best possible manner. Now, the point is that, when we look at a business, we have to understand one thing, that even the best of the businesses, they are specialized in doing something uh, really good. For example, Google. Google is a search engine. Now, I don't know how many of you know this. Except search engine, they have not built anything successfully in-house. That means most of their products they have bought through acquisition, successful products, including YouTube. So it's like this built a hugely successful search engine, then they bought Google Ads, Google AdWords. It was again developed by some other company, but Google Ads bought it. Google Ads also bought the YouTube. Uh, Android systems are community developed, community based. So you will see that most of the companies look at the any particular company, and you will find that they are best at doing something, one or two things max. Rest of the things they outsource rest of their activities to their suppliers or vendors, right? Who many a times act as their intermediaries. The world has moved. Now, this is the point that we need to understand. The world has moved from a product or service focused economy to marketing focused economy. So, earlier, maybe 50 years back, a product, if the people used to think that if a product is if the product is good, it will automatically be sold, right? This was what the the convention was. This is what people used to think. Um, but today, it's not like that. It is very hard to differentiate between products and services of competitors. So it's all about like if you do your marketing well, you uh, you will succeed, and that is why you will see that a lot of things. In fact, this has also led to something not that good, and that is uh, a, a kind of just marketing, no substance. Unfortunately or fortunately, whatever it is, but the world has moved from product or service focused, like you develop an excellent product and it will automatically be sold, to something called marketing focus. If you do your marketing well, you will sell the product. Thus, the primary USP for many organizations is exceptional marketing. So, there are a lot of companies who are just specialized in doing excellent marketing, nothing else. They outsource almost everything to their suppliers, vendors, intermediaries, etc. We will just see one of those examples. But before that, let's see some of the common business models. So, common business models like manufacturers, those who manufacture the product, distributors, wholesalers, retailers. By the way, this business session will go, we will take multiple episodes for this, but I've just tried to cover the overview of this. We will be covering this in a different session. The individual business models. How do they succeed and how do they make money? Manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, franchisee, consulting, aggregators, online marketplaces, freemium, subscription, uh, auction based, reverse auction based, again, advertisement, crowdsourcing, software as a service, e commerce. There are some of the common business models that exist. Like Jitendra said, there's drop shipping and drop servicing. This is also there that works in e-commerce sector. That is also a business model. So there are varieties in multiple business models. You can ask if you do not know any one of these, you can just ask me. I will try to explain that. Else, I will move forward. This will be covered in a different episodes when we will pick up one of these business models and explain in detail on how do they survive, how if you wish to become, how in you can become one of them if you want, how you can start a business using one of these business models, right? So Bhargav is saying USP can also be an inherent advantage like location. Of course, Bhargavi, so USP, unique selling proposition, can be any advantage. It's like someone USP, a celebrity USP could be very good looks as well. A business USP could be an outstanding location. Location. Okay, so it could be anything that can differentiate you uh, from the rest of the competitors. You call it a unique selling proposition. Jyotsna is saying what is aggregator. So aggregators are like that you Oyo rooms, for example. So there are multiple rooms, hotel rooms. You aggregate them at one platform, right? And BNB, Oyo rooms, etc. They are aggregators. Ola, Uber, they are all aggregators. So for example, Ola does not own a single car. Uber does not own a single car. BNB, Airbnb, they do not own a single property. Oyo rooms, they do not own a single rooms. They simply aggregate from the marketplaces. They have created a platform, right? They have put it all together, and the buyers can go on the platform and book the required services at their prices. So that they are called aggregators. They are aggregators of products and services. Um, then we are saying Aarti is saying what is reverse auction based and SaaS. Okay, Aarti. So reverse auction based is like suppose it's like auction. You understand when okay, reverse auction works opposite to that. So for example, in government buying, government has a single customer. They are the single customer. Okay, and there are multiple sellers. Okay, so now the sellers will say that okay, fine, I will sell a product in 10 rupee. Someone will say I will sell in 8 rupees. Someone will say I will sell in 5 rupees. So that is reverse auction. Auction based is something that if suppose my phone, I am a celebrity and I have a phone, I want to sell it. So I will create an auction and I will say the highest bidder will buy that. Now make it opposite, reverse auction. There are single customer, single buyer, but there are multiple sellers. Okay. Now sellers will say that okay, fine, I will sell in 5 rupees, 10 rupees, $5, $10, $15, $20, and ideally those who will have the minimum bid, right? They will be able to sell, or the customer will buy from the seller who quotes the minimum price. That is reverse auction. SaaS is not related to that SaaS Bahu or something. SaaS is primarily software as a service, right? So what happens is that earlier was a day, and we will cover this SaaS in a different episode. It's a very interesting concept of business model. So software as a service is subscription based service. So earlier you used to download something, okay, and a software you download on your desktop and run it whenever you want. Okay, the problem with that was that if there is any problem with the software, either you know how to fix it or you then approach the company and pay a service fee to get it repaired, right? So that was a software. And so, for example, MS Word, for instance, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint presentation, right? We used to download it and then use in the software, use in our desktop. So that is the normal software product. But now, software as a service, what Microsoft has done, for example, through Office 365 is that you really do not need to buy entire MS Office products in 50 in you don't need to buy that. You simply pay a monthly fee, maybe 100 rupee, 150 rupee, and you can use that. Similarly, Adobe Suite, for instance, the software cost is 75,000 rupees, 80,000 rupee, 85,000 rupee. In that case, the Adobe is saying that okay, fine, and in that case you needed to buy a CD and install that in your system. Now your system should meet certain criteria so that you are able to install that, and then only you can use Adobe Suite. But now Adobe has come as a software as a service platform. So they are saying that you don't need to buy the software. You simply go and you pay us some 3,000 rupee per month, and you don't need to install Photoshop, etc. in your system. Okay, you simply need to have the internet. You can log in and do all the functions in our system. Okay, so you don't need to have expensive software. You can just stop using the services whenever you want. So that is a subscription based model, software as a service. They are giving you on a monthly uh, price rather than giving the entire product, right? So it works good for both the customers also and the sellers also, because sellers are able to generate revenue over a long period of time. So rather than selling a product at 10,000 rupee, they will sell you 100 rupee a month. Okay, 100 rupee a month will be very easy for you. Okay, fine, let's go and buy that. $2. But the point is that $2 you will pay maybe for 20 months, okay, 30 months, maybe lifetime. So the seller will be able to generate that income over a long period of time, right? So earlier in SaaS, perhaps update features was also not possible. Jitendra, see, in SaaS, in software as a service model, you really don't need to have that issue of update or anything, because the software is hosted at the seller's location, seller's server. So you don't have to worry about updates, about anything. You simply go. So for example, let me see. So for example, I say Canva, for instance. We use Canva to design something. So I simply go here, I log in on this tool and start designing something. I really don't bother about, I don't have to download, simply create a design. All the things that happen, suppose I have to design a YouTube thumbnail, I simply have to go and start doing it. In case of if I purchase and download it in my system, I have to then update it, latest version, this and that. So you completely get rid of that. And that is why software as a service model works really well in the market. Customers are also happy, the sellers are also happy. Okay, freemium, Diksha is saying freemium refers to the particular product or service which is given for free initially. Absolutely. So freemium is primarily okay. So freemium crowdsourcing. So out. Okay, let me see. There are some more questions. Freemium. So freemium is like that you start with. So for example, YouTube. You begin with. There are some free services also. You can use them as long as possible. But then if you have to use some advanced feature, for example, if you want to get rid of ads, if you want to run YouTube app in the background, then you can also download premium version. I'm not download, you can buy the premium version. So that is called free plus premium. Both the options are available. So that is freemium. And freemium is very good business model. Why? Because you first give them free. So for example, I talk about YouTube. This Canva is also a freemium product. You go and start using it for free. Over a period of time, you will get addicted to it. You can create any design so quickly. And then to have some great features, you will have to buy at a minimal cost, and that is why you will go and buy that. So that is called freemium model. Um, okay, then comes crowdsourcing. What is crowdsourcing? So crowdsourcing is like there is something called Kickstarter, okay, where you can go and launch your own campaign. So it's like there are multiple. Uh, so it's kind of the users will invest into that. Okay, you crowdsource. You source your money, your investment from a crowd. Suppose you have an excellent product idea. If you want to launch an excellent product and you don't have the funding, so what you can do is you can go and create a project on Kickstarter, and you can ask money from the people. You can upload your business model, etc., videos, etc., right? And if people find value in your business, then they will invest in your business. You will get money to build the product, and then finally, uh, if your product goes well, based on certain terms and conditions, you will give them additional interest or return on their investment. So you crowdsource things. If you remember, when Aam Aadmi Party has started in Indian elections, they had crowdsourced their entire funding for their campaign. So people, they floated that, okay, fund, donations, etc. Wikipedia is also example of crowdsourcing, where people voluntarily pay because of the value that they get from Wikipedia. So that it becomes crowdsourcing. When a crowd thinks, when the users think that the product is valuable, and they pay you, they pay for the products. Right. So, all right. So, freemium refers to is time. Okay, Keto is crowdsourcing platform for needy people. Then how it earns? So, Jitendra, what happens is that there are some people who need it. They go and from Keto and they take money, whatever they want to do, they do it. There are a lot of people. Keto advertise aggressively. There are a lot of people who donate to Keto. Right? It's like Wikipedia. You go and use it for free. Wikipedia will never charge you, but there is a kind of, you will always find a way to donate that. Okay, people go and a lot of people go and donate that. So it works based on donations, right? Okay, there will always be contributions, and there will be some way you will find for donations. Donate. Look at this. So you can go and donate this money from here. Okay, and crowdsourcing has multiple ways. You can go and use crowdsourcing for, it's basically getting money or getting contributions from a crowd, from a pool of people. Okay. I think I have crowdsourcing, freemium, I have reverse auction based aggregators. All right, so we have covered this. Now let's move to the next part of this. Okay. Right, Jitendra. Keto transfers money to beneficiary, but of course, the uh, the people who can go and donate Keto, right? You can go and donate also in the backend, right? We will be using that um, to see of how these NGOs and how they earn money, uh, you know, uh, how they make money, or maybe how they are basically for not for profit, but still how do they make money? We will be covering in one of the sessions. Now let's see a business model study. Let's study this for Airtel. Yes, that probably some of you might be, you know, uh, interested in, and it's kind of interesting for many of you. Okay, so this is how Airtel, operates. So this is Airtel. Okay, you as a customer, when you go to Airtel, If you have to suppose install a broadband connection, you have to buy a broadband connection from Airtel. So what do? Customers approach Airtel through the website or the telephone customer care, etc. And salespeople will visit you. They will fill up the form, take the documents, and uh, take the payment, and initiate the process of installing the broadband connection. You know what? Those people who come to you, they are not directly from Airtel. They are from direct sales agency. Airtel has outsourced most of their sales part, the end part of the customer, going meeting, collecting documents, installing that, uh, the tools, the systems, everything. This is a direct sales agency. Okay. Now suppose you have installed the broadband connection, and then people from service. I have not taken service. I have taken it call center, but consider this as a customer service. Okay, so this is a customer service. So the people from customer service will come and install that. That has been outsourced to different agencies. Plus, when you make calls, suppose if you have any problem, uh, frequent disconnections or any sort of issues, then you give a call to Airtel customer care, right? That call center is not managed by Airtel. That is managed by multiple firms, including Wipros and AGs, etc. Uh, and these people who are sitting in the call center, the hardware that they use to pick up the phone, etc., that is from Avaya company. By the way, these all are real. So I'm not talking about an example. This is all real. So Bharti Airtel, for example, call center pack with Avaya. If we come here, you will also see that there are multiple Bharti Airtel's call center service operations for 20 countries are being managed by BPO firms such as Aegis, Wipro, Spanco, Teleperformance, and Tech Mahindra. So Airtel does not own that uh, call center. I mean, they do not operate that. So they have outsourced to these two these organizations, right? They arrange a call, and again, then they take it to they internally they deliver that service request to another department, the service department. I have not mentioned it here. I have taken it in other operations because it was very difficult to mention everything. The other operations are also again outsourced to some other party, from where the engineer will come and fix your broadband, etc. Right? This is how things work. Now let's see the backend, how the backend things work in the uh, in the background. So Airtel, the SIM card, by the way, the Airtel SIM card that you use in your phones, okay, you know that the phone you buy is from another company. Jitendra is saying that I think the difference between franchisee and direct sales is that former works for one company and later with many companies. I notice in case of credit cards. Absolutely, Jitendra, you are absolutely right. So direct sales agencies can work for multiple companies. Franchisee usually for only one brand. Now let's look at the backend part, the operation part of Airtel. That is more surprising. The SIM card that you use of Airtel, do you know that it is not manufactured by Airtel? That SIM card is manufactured by East Compiece Company. Okay, that company is a Chinese government company. By the way, you will see a lot of noise about boycotting Chinese products, etc. That's all complete nonsense, because if that happens, almost the entire economy will collapse. Look at this Chinese company, they are the ones, and it is not just for Airtel. They manufacture the SIM card for Reliance Communication, Tata Teleservices, Airtel. This is an old news. They continue in 2012. They still continue to do it for Airtel. So the SIM cards that you use are manufactured by a Chinese government company. So the company is owned by Chinese government, and that supply to almost all companies, because I have given here the link. Um, Rahul, you have Airtel SIM. A lot of people, whosoever is using Airtel phone, they will have Airtel SIM card. You cannot throw it out. It's impossible. This is the company that sells, right? And they are specialized uh, in SIM cards, right? Now let's see a few things. I'm just removing this so that it does not take a lot of our bandwidth. So it is Compass technology. Now, the network 2G, 3G, etc., etc., they are again not managed by Airtel. Airtel has outsourced that to once again to Ericsson, Nokia Siemens network, and Huawei. So you will find that again in the news, it is in the public domain. All 2G, 3G, 4G, they are managed services. It is called managed services. They are managed by these companies. Nokia Siemens, in some circle it is Nokia Siemens, in some circles it is um, Ericsson, right? And have you ever wondered why the operator of network of almost all companies have gone worse? Because these are the only companies, Ericsson, Nokia Siemens, they will manage for Airtel, they will manage for Vodafone, they will manage for Geo, they will manage for multiple telecom operators. So again, even though you are, as a customer, you are buying from different companies thinking that they offer different services, in the back end, the same companies are operating, managing their network. So network management is again outsourced to these companies. Now, the tower installations that is responsible for giving you the network, the strength of network, the tower installation is done by Indus Tower. By the way, Indus Tower was acquired by Airtel in 2 3 years back, but that was again a different company. And Indus Tower, the tower operations and installation, again it might be a surprise, they do it for almost all telecom companies. So if you come here and you will see their customers are Bharti Airtel, Vodafone Idea, Reliance Jio, BSNL. Who is left now? Yes. So yes, now the tower installation is done by Indus Tower. Other operations like billing, payroll management, etc., is again outsourced to some other company. And to connect all this through an IT system, because an information technology strong IT backbone is required to connect all of them. So these are managed by IBM. Okay, so Airtel does not manage anything. It's just a marketing company. It has brought bandwidth, not brought, but took the license. It pays rent to the government. From the government, it has taken the bandwidth and then outsourced almost everything else and focuses just on advertising and managing all the partners, right? Um, this is how, and this is the model these days, which is being adopted by a lot of companies. You outsource everything. Everything means everything, and um, you just focus on customer acquisition, marketing, branding, etc. Right? Now, Jitendra asking, can Erection further outsource its work? Of course, they can. They do. They do it. They further have smaller companies, and they get it done things from them. Right? So there are multiple level of outsourcing that is there. So yes, so Airtel does not have manufacture even its SIM card, does not manage its network, does not have its own tower installation, nothing. It's a purely marketing company. And this is how they have grown so quickly. Today they have a customer base of 30 crores, right? And this is the model adopted by lots of growing companies. They have focused a lot on marketing to grow their business, their model. Okay, now in this process, if you look at this, this is called front end. So front end is basically for the customers who, for customer facing activities, you call them front end, and the operations which is managed, you call them back end, right? Uh, Yes, so backend, right? So this is backend, the operation part, and front end. By the way, this is the marketing term. Many people get confused with this. Front end is anything which is customer facing, so customer service and customer sales, sales and customer service are in front end. In backend is all those bandwidth management, SIM card, network management, tower installations, etc., etc. Now, Jitendra is saying it seems like government system where government logo just replaced by Airtel. Okay, that is a kind of, we can say, but the point is that yes, a kind of similar. They are just using the bandwidth, and their rest of the things are outsourced. Of course, they are managing all the partners. They are the owners of. They are managing also. Intermediary, uh, yes. Now this is a good question. Cynthia Roche is saying that is Airtel an intermediary? By the way, they are working as an organization, but they're just a marketing firm. They're just specializing in marketing. They do not own anything. They have outsourced almost everything. So you can say that yes. Outsourcing is another name for of intimidatory. Okay, intimation. Rahul, I did not understand that. So okay, all right. So there are. So this is there. In fact, when we will study in one of the sessions in the future, we will study manufacturing, and we will know that uh, uh, manufacturing uses next level of outsourcing. Okay, and we will just discuss that. Let's understand one thing more in service sector. By the way, Airtel, this is a telecom service operator, and we are providing services. They are providing services. So now let's understand uh, one thing more pertaining to services sector. So let's remove everything, okay, and just keep company Airtel as a company and the customers, okay. Just forget everything else. So now let's start removing front end, back end, and everything, okay. So yes. Now let's focus on this Airtel and customer, okay. We will just focus on that. Is this an aggregator module, Arisha? No, this is just an overview. You will just understand. This is an overview, just to give you an overview of uh, uh, the business scenario and how business model works. What is a business? The business model, right? Yes, Jitendra is saying, but and as Airtel has purchased bandwidth. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, that you, as such, you cannot say an intermediary. It's a marketing firm. It's just that it's a marketing firm. It has the marketing capability. Now, since Airtel is a service operator, so let's focus on the customer and the company. Uh, as a company, as a customer, if you have to approach Airtel, Airtel is a company, is not a person, right? A company is a group of people and processes, etc. So, as a customer, if you have to deal with Airtel, how will you do that? You will connect through website, customer care, maybe by making a call, mobile application, advertisements, when you will see advertisements, okay, print documents, salespeople come and they bring brochures, right, price manuals, etc. Representative, the people who come and meet you, you know Airtel only through these things, right? Now, in service marketing, because Airtel is offering services, in service marketing, it is called moment of truth. These things are called moment of truth. This is a technical term, moment of truth. Moment of truth is any tangible evidence that customers face when they interact their with a company. So when customers is trying to work with or trying to deal with Airtel as a company, they will deal with these things. Okay, these are tangible evidence. These are something that is visible to the customers, and they deal with. They directly deal either with website, customer care, mobile app, advertisements, print documents, or representatives. These are called moment of truth. This is a technical term. Companies, good companies, and marketing focused companies invest a great deal of time and money in building superior moments of truth because they know that these moments of truth will either make or break their entire business model. Right? When you write content, okay, any content developed for moment of truth must be compelling and customer friendly. So when you are working and writing content for any one of these, you have to keep customers in mind because it is meant for customers and it has to be very compelling, interesting, and customer friendly means the new user friendly. It is not a technical document. It is not called a technical document. Okay. These are uh, part. So this is moment of truth. As a startup, when you launch your service, a new product, or whatever you call it, a business, remember that moment of truth. You have to invest and you have to be very careful about the moments of truth and you have to work on them because your customers do not know your company. They know just these moment of truth. They have all interactions only with these. Now, an interesting facts about automobile business model. So, by the way, many of you we love cars. We love this car, that car. How many of you know that many cars use exactly the same engine? The engines are not different. Okay, engines are in fact multiple brands from different companies. They use the same engines. I have taken this example article. I have given this link here. You can go and check that. They've given in detail about one engine, multiple cars is the new mantra for the car maker. So it's like um, they have given some of the models. So for example, this Fiat 1.3 liter multijet. This is used by Just, Bolt, Indica, Manja. Maruti Suzuki has also been regularly sourcing the motor from Fiat for Ritz, Swift, Desire, Ertiga, Ciaz. These all use the same uh, Fiat, this engine, with of course some mild modifications. Okay, so they have given a detailed list of which companies use the same engine. Okay, so you might be you're feeling very happy that okay, fine, you're using this car, or you're busy in comparing this versus that car, and in the back end, both the cars use the same engine, right? Uh, yes, assembling. They of course again they do designing. Cars are also primarily all about designing how it looks like, right? So the car makers they invest a lot of time uh, in in designing, time and money in designing, right? Rest engine and all they sometimes they use it from another company, another car. So moment of truth means advertising methods. Yes, moment of truth means anything, any tangible thing which is visible to your customer will be moment of truth. So advertising is one of them. Any brochure or any print document will be again a different moment of truth. When you write content for them, you have to just make sure that your moment of truth, your customers perceive you because of your moment of truth. So you have to invest adequately in the moment of truth. There are some key terms which is used to describe a business model. So offerings, when we say, we call it either product or services. Okay, that is called offerings. Suppliers means suppliers means organizations that sells raw material to other organizations. There are some people use this interchangeably, suppliers and vendors. There is a small difference. Suppliers basically supply the raw material. Okay, the raw material will be further processed and then you'll be used to make a final product. But vendors are different. Vendors actually they use the final product only. They are just either assembled or they are just sold it as it is, right? So, for example, in case of Airtel, most of them were vendors, not suppliers. In automaking also, in cars also, a lot of it are vendors. They simply give. So, for example, for Sona is steering, right? If you know Sona steering company in Gurgaon, um, right? That company supplies steering to almost all car makers in India, almost all of them, right? Yes. So Cynthia is saying that the car designs of a particular company is their USP. Absolutely, Cynthia. Now you've got it right. So their car design is their USP, and this is how BMW, this is how Mercedes in different cars, and many others also. They create different designs, looks, feeling, and that is their USP. They invest a lot of money in that. Okay, rest is all is assembled from their vendors. Outsourcing when a part of the products or services are produced by an outsider company or an external partner, that we call outsourcing. Operations are handling the backend activities. You know, operations, we saw front end and back end. So, handling of all the backend operations, backend things, all the activities are known as operations. Sales and marketing is handling the front end activities before a customer has made a purchase, and customer service is handling customer queries after sales, post sales. So once the customer has paid the money and when he inquires, then it comes under service. And before a customer has made money and he is inquiring, it goes to sales. Then, a quick things before we wrap up. So, this is about business departments. Now, let's quickly understand what is a business. What business for smooth functioning of business? What all will be needed? So, we need money, okay, to run the business. Customers, products of goods and services, production of goods and services, and people. These are essential for any business. They need it, okay, to run the business. Any business, even if it is a one-man business, these things will be needed. Some of are some applicable in sub businesses like procurement, research and development, and legal cases, for instance, and there are multiple could be related to various other businesses. Now, the Mitra is saying not design, precisely R&D. Yes, you can say that. Samrangi is saying, can the prestige status symbol attached to a brand name serve as a USP? Of course, that is a very important thing. So that is called brand value, and that brand value is plays a critical role, right? So that is also their USP. In fact, big brands use their brand value as a big USP in uh, promoting new offerings from their product and services from their brands, right? So that is also a USP. Okay, so these are the things which is required for smooth functioning of business, right? Procurement, I mean purchasing things, research and development, and legal cases, legal things are not applicable in all businesses, but these four are mandatory for all kind of business, right? So therefore, based on whatever resources are required to run a business, we create a different department. So this is how the business department has come into the picture. By people means employees, of course. Yes, Bhargavi. So business department, so finance, that is the money part. Sales and marketing deals with customer. Operations deals with productions of goods and services. HR department, all of you know that, deals with people, the employees who work for the business. Um, Purchase, this is about procurement. So if the company has to buy something, so there is a special department for those companies who make a lot of purchases or big ticket purchases. Otherwise, it is handled by finance department. R&D, again, if you are into industries that requires unique features every time. So, for example, in car, if you have to sustain your business, if you have to sustain in the long run, then you have to have a research and development team. So R&D, legal, big companies, this is an essential department once again because it takes care of all the legalities and legal things in the company. Um, yes, of course, Jitendra. Yes, that is one of those USPs, accreditation by government for ECT. There are a lot of other USPs as well. Um, but yes, that is one core USP that we highlight. Of course, any business always they highlight their USP, and it is very important as a writer to understand whenever you go and write any for any business, you understand what is their USP, and then build your story on that, build your content on that. In case of business departments, a lot of people get confused with sales and marketing. Some of them, those who do not have the business background, they think that both are one and same. It is not one and same. Sales and marketing is entirely different. In fact, some of the organizations, especially in Western world, these are kept as a different department. In our country, especially in India, sales and marketing is kept together to for the budget purposes to minimize the expenditure, but these are entirely different things, sales and marketing. So that is why I have covered just one thing. By the way, these there are business terms related to each of these departments. So like we saw that there are business terms related to every kind of business model. So every unique business model brings in new terms, terminologies, nomenclature system, etc. So we will study those business models one by one and we will cover those terms. Similarly, each business department also brings in new terms and uh, new nomenclature system. So like HR will have payroll, etc. Uh, retention, HR will be payroll, retention, employee turnover, a lot of other things. We will cover that when we will do department wise studies. Similarly, sales and marketing will introduce new terms like ADA model, um, advertising, copywriting, a lot of other things. Similarly, finance will introduce terms like profits, revenue, sales, net profit, profit before tax, profit after tax, a lot of other terms. And so is true for all other departments. They have their own new terms. So we will study those departments differently to understand the terms under those departments. Um, just here before we end, I try to uh, give you a clear difference between marketing and sales so that you do not make this mistake when you write a content for that. So the core difference between, yes, Jitendra, we are going to cover that. So the core difference between marketing and sales is pull versus push. So marketing is kind of it attracts customer towards your brand. Okay, sales team goes after the customers to convert them into customer. So read this. Marketing team ensures that customer visits your website and place an inquiry. Means generate leads. So for example, you talked about ECT when you go and when you visit our website. For instance, if you go here and visit our website, and then after reading that course details, etc., you go here and place an inquiry. Means give your contact details. So suppose I go here and I go into this content writing courses and then I give my contact details over here. Okay, this one. Suppose I am giving my contact details and request a free demo class. Now this is because of the efforts of marketing team. Okay, because uh, somebody got interested in ACT content writing course. They came here. They give their contact details so that our sales team now can approach them. Okay, so sales team now picks up on those leads and then go after them to convert them and into a business, means generate the sales or money for the company. So getting place interested in product and services. So getting there is some mistakes for in terms of getting interested. Customers interested in product and services. Okay, so all the advertising comes into marketing. Okay, so all advertising comes into marketing where you generate interest in your product and services. Sales is like making a call, cold calling, even you have the leads, going and meeting, making a call, giving presentations, etc. That's about sales. Marketing activities are measured in terms of customer inquiries, website page views, inbound calls, how many calls are coming. Okay. Sales is very clear. It's measured in terms of how much revenue we have got. So clear number of units sold, the sales generated. In case of marketing, so for example, the advertising. In case of sales, examples could be calling and meeting prospective customers, right? Um, these are the difference between sales and marketing. In one term, we call it pull versus push. Okay, you will see big companies like Hindustan Unilever and etc. They will never come and call you. Okay, can you buy a Lux sabun? There are 20% discount. They never say that, right? Because they use pull marketing strategy. They give the kind of advertisement that create an interest among people about their product and services, right? And then people go, once they are interested, they go and then buy the product and services. In case of sales, you will see insurance companies, for example, they always do sales. By the way, most of the companies do both. They do marketing as well as sales. They do marketing to attract customers, and they do sales to convert them into, I mean, in marketing, they do it to convert prospects, okay, to make awareness of their products. And they do sales to convert those interested prospective customers into final customers and generate revenue. So that is all for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes. So that's all for today. If you have anything related to this for today, if you have any topic, because in this I try to cover just basic part of it so that you get to know about a business and some of the terms that we frequently use. If you want to suggest, if you want to recommend any topics, please feel free to tell me over here. You can also send me an email, and we can convert in the next few. We can do that in the next few episodes, right? Uh, yes, the objective is that you, as a uh, you should know the in and out of business before you go and start writing uh, something about business, because until you understand business, if you write about it, it will not make sense to your customers. Thank you, Una. Thank you, Dev Mitra. Thank you very much. Yes. Uh, okay, so great. All right. Not getting jobs in content writing. Why, Jyotsna? What's the problem you? Cynthia, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Great then. Do suggest if you have any topic in mind. Do suggest that something that we cover in the course. We will not cover it here. But other than that, if you're facing any problem, please tell me and I will cover that. Thank you, Samrangi. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks everybody. Then I will now end the session here, and then we will uh, meet again next week, Thursday, right? Um, okay, Jitendra is saying very interesting thing. We also find executive at mall who sell credit card. That is sales and marketing combined. No, no, that is purely sales. That is not simply because it's like uh, they are selling it. In marketing, you don't really need go to customers' door and knock them. Okay, fine, and buy them. That credit card sales is purely sales. It's not marketing. In marketing, you operate on a mass level, and you people will automatically come to you because of your marketing efforts, right? All right, great then. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody. We are ending the session now. In case if you have any questions, if you need this presentation, send me an email and I will reply to you with the presentation. Thanks again. Thank you.